This is BAIT, Life Outside the Federal Witness Protection Program.
No-fly list in Alaska, the legal case. Hey, it's Susan. Welcome to today's episode of Keep the Bad Guys Away. Hey, nice to see ya. Okay, this is a video for the United States legal community because for some reason when I call law firms, they just don't seem to get it. And I don't really understand. I mean, it's really not that difficult because when a law firm tells me that they don't understand this, I have to wonder if they really actually went to law school and got that JD degree. So, let me tell you. Okay, here we go. Let's start off with the no-fly list in Alaska case. First of all, I have this letter from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement in Washington, D.C. It is signed by attorney, okay, let's say that again for you legal community. It's signed by an attorney named Elliot Williams. He is an attorney with ICE, with DHS. He used to work for the U.S. Department of Justice, and he used to work for a senator in New York. So he is an experienced, highly experienced attorney. Okay. In this letter signed by attorney, ICE, DHS attorney Elliot Williams, it says one big word: problems. Problems, it's plural, problems. This no-fly list in Alaska is one of many problems, okay? Problems, it's plural, so if you read this closely, problems. It also says within the purview of the U.S. Department of Justice. So we have bad or misconduct or unprofessional misconduct to the point of it being highly criminal by federal government employees. This actually cross-spans many issues because there's a keyword in here that says problem. So many problems, but one of them is the no-fly list in Alaska issue. Okay, does everybody understand that? All right, if you understand it, we'll move on. If you don't understand it, stop the video, start from the beginning. Okay, assuming that you understand problems as being plural, as the Alaska no-fly issue as being one legal problem, then here we go. Okay. Now, I've been on many planes for many years. I have traveled internationally, and I have a passport book issued by the U.S. Department of State in August of 2009. I have traveled to 16 different countries. I have traveled internationally before it was identified up in Alaska and after it was identified in Alaska. Okay, so let's just go back. Let's just say that one more time. The U.S. Department of State gave me a passport book. I applied for it just like anybody else applies for a passport. It was issued in August of 2009. I have been on planes prior to the date of that and after the date of this U.S. passport book, and I've traveled internationally before and after it was identified in Alaska as the fact that I'm on a no-fly list. Okay, got it? Okay, here's what happened in Bethel, Alaska. I'm a registered nurse. I am licensed to practice nursing in the state of Alaska. In order to do so, you have to pass an FBI background check. Okay, does everybody understand that? All right, moving on. When I was finished with my nursing contract in Bethel, Alaska, I had trouble getting on the plane. Well, what happened is that Alaska Airlines was not issuing me my boarding pass. I swiped my debit card that had plenty of money in it, and at first they said that card was denied. Now, let's stop right there. There's nothing wrong with my debit card. Why is that? For two reasons. In history, remember we're back to problems. In history, the U.S. Marshal Service in Oregon already investigated and solved one major financial crime when I was working in Tuba City. And Special Agent Paul Burkholder with Homeland Security Investigations in Houston already reversed a cyber crime of a direct deposit when I was down in Santa Monica last year. So that was prior to me using this same debit card, same checking account to be able to pay for my luggage fees for Alaska Airlines when I was at the Bethel, Alaska airport. So there's nothing wrong with my debit card. Okay. That was the first thing Alaska Airlines was saying. The next thing that they were saying, I said, well, I've got cash. Then they were not allowing me to pay cash either. Okay. So, and I actually called, I was so pissed. Okay, so they wouldn't let me pay cash, and then a manager did override it. But I did go out and I called Special Agent Phil Roney up in Buffalo, New York, and told him I was pissed. I have his cell phone number. Why do I have his cell phone number? Problems. My cousins are missing up in Rochester. Okay? So that phone call was made. So I get on the plane, so they finally issue my boarding pass. I get on the plane in Bethel, Alaska, and I fly into Anchorage. And let me tell you who paid for that airline ticket. Alaska Native Medical Center, or the Alaska Native Tribal Health Consortium. I had a nursing contract in the intensive care unit up at Alaska Native Medical Center, and the Alaska Native Medical Center paid for my flight, this same flight. So then I get up to Anchorage and I asked TSA about this. TSA, it was a female TSA agent. She had kind of short wild hair. And so I said, you know what, there's something wrong. What the heck? I said, I'm having trouble getting on a plane in Bethel. And she goes, do you think you might be on a no-fly list? And I thought to myself, those damn motherfuckers, no-fly list, no-fly list, holy damn cow, no-fly list. And then she found somebody, and they got me the business card for Dan E. Palmer, Customer Support Manager, TSA Anchorage, U.S. Department of Homeland Security. So this was handed to me by a TSA agent at the Anchorage, Alaska airport. So then I call Dan Palmer and I said, you know what, I thought this whole kind of, this whole scam was like, fixed down in San Juan, Puerto Rico, when they were doing the cotton swab on the hands thing and putting it in the analyzer machine. And you know what? And it's like he blamed the FBI. Okay. Now, most recently, I had a horrible situation with a lot of retaliation. So we're back to this Homeland Security letter. It says, problems. Up in Marysville, California, a nursing contract I had at the hospital, I was facing a lot of retaliation due to these assholes. So I booked a flight into Mexico. Okay. And I sent Dan Palmer a recent letter that I got from Senator Dianne Feinstein about the FBI. Matter of fact, let me go get that for you. Here we go. Letter from about the FBI. Senator Dianne Feinstein. Not the first United States Senator that's tried to get rid of the FBI for me or tried to help me with the FBI. United States Senator John Kyle, who's now retired in Arizona, tried to do the same thing a few years ago. All right. So I sent Dan Palmer this letter, this recent letter. Told him, and then, you know what? It's like I got an email back from him after email. Attorneys, listen. Email. This has his email address on it. Email address, okay? And apparently he can't fix the no-fly list issue. I thought he could fix it. Apparently he cannot fix it. I have contacted TSA intermixed in this in hopes to God maybe I could I told TSA, actually I've contacted their FOIA office intermixed in this, and said I didn't know if I was going to have to file a civil lawsuit or if my Homeland Security special agents, my new ones, are going to be able to fix this. Okay, I had that letter. I can get it again. It was actually taken from me down in a whole scam in the McAllen, Harlingen, Texas area, known to U.S. Border Patrol most recently, but I can get TSA for you to do that again. So, anyway, I have been to Mexico twice since it's been identified up in Anchorage, Alaska, that apparently I'm on a no-fly list, and Dan Palmer, TSA, Homeland Security, blaming the FBI. Okay, so apparently it doesn't look like at this point that they can fix it. Why can they maybe not fix it? Why can't Homeland Security maybe not prosecute it today? Okay, now we're back to this letter. They might in the future, but you know what? I need this taken care of sooner than later. I need this taken care of sooner than later. This says problems, many problems. There's many problems. This is one small, little, teeny tiny legal problem that the fucking FBI has caused me in the past 10 years. Okay? Me and everybody else. So I have flown into Mexico twice since it's been identified that I was on a no-fly list in Alaska, and both at the Reynosa, Mexico airport and then the Mexicali, Mexico airport, the military police were there. Now, whether or not the MPs are there routinely or they were just there because I red flagged the system so much, I don't know. But the MPs in Mexico can verify that I got off a plane and flew on a Mexican airline. So, now, this, like I said, it's not the only problem that the FBI has caused. Alaska state troopers cited the FBI or blamed the FBI for stuff with my driver's license. Okay, this is Trooper Matthew Heron. I hope I'm saying his name correctly. Officer Andy Reed of the Bethel, Alaska Police Department told me there's going to be an FBI agent going to prison. I don't know when and I don't know who. There's so many FBI agents I'd like to see in prison. So I can't, I'm just like, God, only one? All right, so now intermixed also in this damn flippin' disaster. Remember, we're back to this whole thing that says problems. Okay, a couple years ago, I flew into Houston, Texas, and I asked customs at the Houston airport to find me a special agent with Homeland Security investigations. So they found me Special Agent Paul Burkholder. So he would know that I've gotten on planes. When I was in Bethel, Alaska, Special Agent Paul Burkholder with the Homeland Security Investigations in Houston, Texas, called me on Skype, because I didn't have a regular phone that was working on there. He called me on Skype, and something about some cop in LA yelling at him for letting me on a plane. Okay, so who would be the witnesses in this case? Let's just review this, attorneys. The witnesses in this case would be Special Agent Paul Burkholder with Homeland Security Investigations in Houston, Texas. TSA. The Customer Support Manager for TSA up in Anchorage, Alaska, Dan Palmer. The military police in Mexico. And then there's other people like the Alaska State Troopers and like, police departments, and even the State Department, the U.S. Department of State, can verify that the FBI has caused a tremendous amount of problems for many people for many years on many issues. So like I said, this no-fly list in Alaska issue is just one small sliver of problems that the FBI has caused and the U.S. Department of Justice should have been fixing or managing or something, fixing, stopping 4 years ago. This letter is dated March 11th, 2010. This lists the name and address of Attorney Ronald White with the U.S. Department of Justice, Office of Congressional Relations or Congressional Affairs, Office of Legislative Affairs for the U.S. Department of Justice. Name and address of who to sue. He has since resigned from the U.S. Department of Justice and sadly, very scary, apparently he's teaching law school in Maryland. So you could just take this letter and put this right in front of U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder. So that is the no-fly list in Alaska issue. It would be nice if an attorney in the United States of America could sue the FBI and sue the Justice Department for not managing their own shit. Because if not, if Homeland Security investigations can't fix it or overturn it or put people in prison for it down the road, the next step is the International Criminal Court and the authorities in Mexico and the 16 other countries that I have visited. So it'd be nice, like I said, if an attorney within the United States could do one small little problem. So anyway, that's today's episode of Keep the Bad Guys Away. No-fly list in Alaska. The legal case, it's a shoo-in. You know, all you have to do is put a figure on it, put $1 billion on it, and take 90%. But it will help me get away from the FBI. So you know what? If you take 99%, put $1 billion lawsuit claim on it, and take 99%, hell, I don't care, because it will get me away from the FBI. And I wake up every single day of my life and sit there and pray, what can I do today to get away from the FBI? The FBI's abuse. So anyway, that's today's episode of Keep the Bad Guys Away. Keep your stun gun handy. See you next time.